I am going to try to incorporate a few more pantry meals just to show how to use up some of the things that I have canned and that I will be canning in the future. So, hello, howdy, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Catherine and I'm the Aerogarden homesteader. So today I thought I would make a quick soup. I've got some canned onions here, I've got some canned potatoes. These were done in 2019 and 2020, so we got a whole bunch of potatoes and onions, you know, because stuff was happening, and I canned them up. I also have some stock. So the potatoes and onions have been around for a while. I kind of wanted to just turn them into a soup, and that would get rid of them, get them off my shelf. I really want to start going through some of the stock that I have in my pantry because, you know, I don't want things sitting around for too long. So, it's soup day. Currently in my pot I have a little bit of like chicken stock broth drippings. Came out of the bottom of the pan when I was roasting up some chicken breasts or thighs for canning. I think I actually have a video where this came from. I'll try to find the link and post it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my potatoes open and I'm going to drain them. Now the reason why I want to drain them is because I may have oversalted some batches, so I want to get some of the extra salt out, and I don't think I really need this starchy water. Okay, so I'm going to get that in there. The other reason why I want to get the potatoes in first is because I don't want to use all of the onion broth. So I want to drain some of that off and just put the onions in and then add the broth as needed, because I don't want it to be too brothy. Okay, so I have a rinse jar. I'll put my onion stock in there. Now the onion stock it's worth keeping and using. I just, like I said, I don't want this to be too brothy. Boy, that smells really oniony. Okay, let's see if I can do this without losing a bunch of onions. It's going to be kind of like a creamy potato onion soup. I guess you could make it into like a loaded baked potato soup. So I might actually put in a little cheese just to give it that cheesy zing. And I do have some, it's grated cauliflower, which you would use to make cauliflower rice. It's been sitting in the freezer for a little bit, and you know, I'm not using it for other things, so thought I'd throw it in here. This will also reduce the kind of carb load, because potatoes can be a little carb heavy. So this will lighten it up without affecting the flavor too much. Okay, I don't think I got all that out. There we go. Okay, so in that goes. It's an awful lot of onion. Now the reason why I'm using this instead of fresh onion, which I actually do have, is because I don't like the texture. I don't know if you can see, but it's really, I don't know, like a limp noodle. So I figured this would be a good way to use it because I'm just going to puree all this up before I add in, well, I might actually add the cauliflower in and then puree it again, but but I want to make this smoother. Since I'm going to make this smoother, the texture of the onions doesn't really matter. Okay, well I will, obviously I will just mute this or skip ahead. This is not very pleasant on the ears, especially if you're wearing headphones. Okay, well I realize that is a very appealing shade of brown, but it is what it is. Okay, cauliflower. This is a cup, so I'm going to put in 2 of those. Now since it's already been grated, I probably don't have to puree it down, but I will test it later after it has, you know, thawed a little bit. And we'll just play it by ear. You can obviously add as much or as little as you want, make up the amount with potato, add broccoli if you want, and make like a cheddar potato broccoli soup. Okay, that's kind of, I missed a piece of onion. Okay, let that sit for a minute. Let's get in a little bit of some stock because that is thick. Okay. I like to shake mine up because I sometimes get a little bit of settling on the bottom. So, just want to make sure I get all that goodness mixed in. And I will just add what I need. So I can always use the stock for something else. Like I said, I will be mindful of salt just because I think the potatoes may have been oversalted when I can them. So this is actually a great way to use oversalted potatoes because since I'm adding so much other stuff to it, I don't have to worry about it being too salty. And I don't salt my broth, so this will be a great way to desalt the potatoes. Okay, well you can see it's still a pretty thick soup, so I might add a little more of the broth, and then I probably will add some cheese, but I definitely want to get some, not put salt in right now, let's get some pepper going. Might put in white pepper, because I have it. If I can find it, here we go, white pepper. Doesn't matter, you can put in black pepper, there we go. Have a little bit of garlic powder, and you can put in minced garlic if you have fresh, or mince it yourself. Okay, so I have been seeing a few chunks as I've been stirring this up, but I will probably give it another blitz just to smoothen it up a little bit more. I don't want it to be perfectly smooth, that's kind of why I added the cauliflower after, but I am finding like big pieces of potato, big pieces of onion. That's actually not too bad, it's a little piece of potato. So, well, maybe I'll leave it. Maybe that one piece of onion that it's in there will just be fine. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright. Have a spoon, give this a little bit of a taste. Very oniony. Don't really taste the potato too much, but I think it needs more pepper. Probably needs some salt too, actually. Add in a little bit of black pepper this time. See how it goes. Get a clean spoon. Alright, give this another try. It was not warm the first time, so. Alright, well that's definitely better on the pepper. So, let's see if we can dial in the salt. I know it looks like I'm putting a lot in, but this is kosher salt and it doesn't fit through the holes very well, so. Okay, I'll clean my spoon again. It's definitely better on the salt. Yeah, there's my big piece of onion there. Might try to mash that up against the side. They're pretty soft. Okay, so the only thing not cooked in here currently is the cauliflower. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to track down some cheese. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in there. And I might put in, we'll see how it goes, how thick it makes it, but I might put in a little bit more stock just to make sure it's not too thick. And I have a nice amount of lettuce going on, so I could probably have a nice little side salad with this as well. Okay, found a Colby Jack. It's open. There goes my spoon. I just keep this in the freezer for when I need it. That way I don't have to worry about it going bad. I'm going to start with about, I don't know, looks like about half a cup, maybe a little bit more. I will melt that in and then give it a taste and see how I am with thickness. Let's see if I can find that other, I feel like there's another big chunk of potato in there somewhere. Now this really is a versatile recipe. So you could put in bacon bits if you had any. You could put in, I mean you could probably put in like a smoked sausage. That would probably taste really good. You know, I have smoked sausage. Maybe I should give that a try in one of my bowls. Could add more potato and less cauliflower, or omit the cauliflower altogether. But for pantry staples, this was literally chicken broth, some onions that I had canned up, and potato. That's my base. And then I'm just putting in some herbs and spices, depending on what I want. And I did put in some cheese and cauliflower. I'll clean up my spoon. I will give it another taste and see how we're going. Probably put in parsley as well, if you like parsley. Not a huge fan of it, but I'm trying to add dried parsley to things. I dried up some parsley and just to see how I like it. I guess I'm just not a parsley person. I'm a cilantro person. So if you want to see more pantry meals like this, please let me know below. I don't have that many in my repertoire, but that's only because I haven't tried. So I think once I put my mind to it, it'll, you know, it's just a matter of how to use the ingredients I have. So I'm an ingredient canner. I don't have too many meals that are meals in a jar. I have beef stew. Didn't really work out for me. I found the vegetables were too soft and squishy. So I've been taken to trying to do the meat separate from the vegetables now. I do salsa. Not really sure you can count that as a meal. And I do baked beans. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of, I try to do ingredients. So like the potatoes and the onions. I didn't like the onions. I probably wouldn't do that again. But definitely the potatoes seem to turn out, especially for soups like this, or if you wanted to do mashed potato. I've been doing mixed vegetables, so they don't need to process for quite as long. I have also done, you know, obviously tomato products. And what else? I do like chicken and meat and meatballs. I just tried ground beef for the first time. So they're all just ingredients that I can throw together in a pot and make into a meal. Okay, let's give this another taste. Try not drip. Oh yeah, that's definitely a lot better with the cheese. I might add a little more cheese. This is a big pot of soup. But I think this is it. So, probably make that about a cup of cheese for, let's see if I can figure out. It says it's almost 10 cups of soup. And it's definitely a lot hotter than it was before. Okay, well I may not need the rest of that stock. I probably shouldn't have used the stock that I had sitting in the freezer, but you know, hey, I wanted to get that used up. So I will probably have to make something soon with a little bit of chicken stock. I guess I can make some rice. Rice and chicken stock is supposed to be really good. I've never tried it because I bought a rice cooker. Like, your real honest-to-goodness from Korea rice cooker. And the Korean coworker told me, never put anything else in there except water and rice. So, I don't know. I'd have been afraid to put something else in. We'll see. Oh yeah. Definitely a cup of cheese. There we go. So I will get this dished up and I will show you what it looks like. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, it'd be really nice if you'd like and share so other people can also find this video. I am going to try to incorporate a few more pantry meals just to show how to use up some of the things that I have canned and that I will be canning in the future. So there's no questions of what's the point of canning this if I don't know how to use it. So I've kind of felt the same way when I first started canning. I'm still pretty new to canning. Like, what do I do with this? How do I use this? So that's why I've stuck with ingredients mostly, because I feel like I can just open up a jar and use one ingredient. So this is the first, it's not really the first time, but it's kind of one of the first few times I've opened up more than a few jars and just made sort of a dump and eat meal. I will have another recipe at the end of this video, so if you want to check that out, it will be there for you. And I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.